The 1950s. We'd never had it so good. This was the start of a new Elizabethan era, and it was also the first decade when Britain became recognisably modern. It gave us designs and inventions that are still at the heart of family life today. I'm Brendan Walker. I'm an experimental engineer, and I want to celebrate the innovators that took us from the hardships of the 40s to the prosperity of the 60s. This is the story of how science transformed an exhausted country into a nation brimming with confidence. And it starts here in the home. I'm taking a typical 1950s house and fast-forwarding it through the decade, filling it full of the latest mod-cons and finding out about the impact they had on all our lives. This home will reveal how a black and white Britain was transformed into a Technicolor wonderland. Thanks to the house the 50s built. Welcome to 21 Coronation Close, where we've recreated a post-war home. Science and technology are going to give it a complete 50s makeover. This is what our living room and millions of others would have looked like in Britain at the start of the 50s. In fact, it's just how I remember my auntie's living room being. You can imagine the family laid out here, facing a lovely roaring fire, a little bit sooty, a bit dusty. It's warm, but it's just so drab. Dark colours, dark, heavy furniture. It's no wonder that people only came in here on holy days and high days. This room seems to sum up 1950 Britain. Dark and austere, little that was new, and a lot that was hand-me-down from your parents. But in 10 short years, it would be transformed into this. A living room you might actually want to live in, and to show off. Full of colour and creativity, a hub of family entertainment. To find out how it changed, I have to go back to the start of the decade and the dark days of post-war Britain.
Hello.
Come in, please. I've invited a few people from the local bowls club round for traditional afternoon tea.
Ladies first, I think. Shall I be mother and serve tea?
Over cake and sandwiches, crusts cut off, I ask how their living rooms appeared in 1950.
It was all dark, very dark.
I don't think the paint was altered right the way through the war.
No.
All they did was a spring clean. The ceiling was washed over. The curtains were cleaned because with the fires and everything else, it got so filthy.
When people started to spring clean and they took the pictures off the wall, you could see where they'd been.
Oh, yeah.
From all the tobacco and nicotine and what have you, it had all stained the walls.
I'm really interested in the colours that were in the living room around that time. And what kind of things would you have seen?
Everybody seemed to have green and browns. You know, not much choice at all. There wasn't any choice. But if you like green, I suppose it was all right.
By the start of the 50s, the nation was ready to shake off the monotone austerity of the past and look to the future.
People wanted to modernise. They wanted to get away from the wartime feeling because we had been kept down so much that people were looking for bright colours in every way.
And they found colour at the Festival of Britain in 1951.
I went to the Festival of Britain and it was wonderful and inspiring after all the dreariness of war.
We went round with our mouths open because of all the latest innovations, all the changes in industry, science, technology, design. Cost a shilling.
It was a world of colour and people wanted it in their homes. Now, the simplest way, you might think, would be a lick of bright paint. But in 1950, that was far from simple. During the war, paint production had been under government control. Unsurprisingly, what little paint that did appear afterwards was dominated by camouflage colours, grey, green and brown, and was largely the preserve of the professional decorator.
They had to have professionals because they had to make the paint in those days, because only they would have had the knowledge of what to put with what and then the quantities, etc.
Yeah.
Bernard Dykes learnt his trade as a 15-year-old when paint had to be mixed on site, a notoriously difficult and dangerous job.
So if we're going to make the paste now, we should be wearing some protection, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should indeed, yes.
Okay.
We don't want to inhale any of this white lead dust.
In the 50s, paint was a pretty high-octane cocktail of lead, toxic, linseed oil, combustible, and terps, which was flammable.
You can actually, it stinks.
It's not, doesn't stink, it's a beautiful smell.
I can see why you'd want a professional to do this job.
And there we are. But
Traditional paints weren't just complicated and hazardous, they were far from cheap, especially if you wanted bright, light colours. The affordable options came in shades of dark and drab. So how did science make paint safe enough for all of us to just slap it on a wall? Well, the magic ingredient had a rather unlikely source: crude oil. Demand for fuel doubled during the 50s as car ownership grew.
Man's desire for freedom of movement has been fulfilled with petroleum.
As the petrochemical industry boomed, so did the range of byproducts, as scientists discovered more and more chemicals in crude oil that would transform household paint and almost every aspect of our home. The 50s was the petrochemical decade, and there's one man we have to thank for all of this.
Let's step back from the 1950s to the 1850s. This is James Young. Now, James was the world's first oil man.
He invented the process for separating out different petrochemicals, oil refining.
But his oil refinery wasn't in Texas, it was in Scotland.
This is going to be my Hall of Fame to celebrate the scientists and innovators who helped transform our living rooms in the 50s.
Thanks to James Young, we can extract all manner of useful things from crude oil, including the magic ingredient used to make safe household paint. All I need now is an oil refinery.
So I'm off to join Marty Jobson, my scientific brother-in-arms, to see if we can extract this miracle petrochemical. And we've constructed our own miniature, rather magnificent refinery.
So what we have here at the bottom, there's a pressure cooker, and inside the pressure cooker is a load of this stuff, crude oil.
To break down crude oil into its component parts, you need to heat it.
Crude oil, boil it up, comes at the tube, the bits we don't want drop to the bottom, the bits we do want at the right temperature come out the top as a gas. It condenses, turns into a liquid, dribbles down, we collect it in the pot.
No, it's warming up slowly.
As the oil heats up, different chemicals evaporate off and can be collected one by one. Now, if we've built this properly, we should shortly see a chemical boiling off. And the first one at 40 degrees Celsius will be liquid petroleum gas, LPG.
Condensing in there. Can you see on the wall?
True enough, these gases start rising and condensing in our distillation tower.
Oh.
But rather than dribbling into a jam jar, they escape through a leak.
It's leaking somewhere, isn't it?
That should stop it.
Marty bodges a fix. We don't want to lose the next chemical. The temperature continues to rise.
Oh, look.
And at around 80 degrees, a second liquid starts to appear.
Oh!
No.
Yes! We have naphtha.
We have just succeeded in distilling pure naphtha.
This is it, we've got the stuff.
I think, yeah, we got what we wanted, so that's good.
The wonder ingredient that forms the basis of just about every plastic we know today, including a liquid plastic we need for our paint, because naphtha is also the basis of
polyvinyl acetate.
PVA, that's kids' glue.
Not sure how much.
PVA put the thick and sticky into safer water-based paints.
1, 2. Okay, right, do you want to paint it on for us?
Okay.
Paint a section.
Water-based paint without PVA is clearly useless.
It's a nice colour.
There's a bit of a problem. It's not really sticking, is it? And it's see-through, and it's just all horribly streaky.
But not so with kids' glue in the mix.
So what we've made here, actually, is a vinyl emulsion.
And it's the polyvinyl acetate that safely binds the pigment in a consistent colour, giving cheap, bright, ready-mix paint in a tin.
Imagine being able to buy that stuff in the 50s down the shop. It's non-toxic, it sticks to the wall, it's bright, it's vibrant.
Yeah, that looks good.
Modern synthetic wall paint, suddenly, you know, one coat, two coat, bang, wow, you had a new, bright, clean colour. And it was the same colour. And it was the same colour that was on the chart and in the tin.
By the late 50s, the colour card was commonplace in British homes. An explosion of brightly coloured emulsion paints with exotic names like Siamese Pink and New Bamboo.
What that explosion offered was a new democracy in colour. For the first time in the 50s, colour was no longer a class issue, because every paint colour, thanks to petrochemicals, was the same price.
I painted one wall white and one wall yellow.
Oh yes, you could buy paint, because do-it-yourself became terribly popular. Don't I know?
The whole of our house seemed to be permanently being redecorated. Every year, 1 or 2 rooms would be redecorated.
PVA-based paint. I mean, that's fantastic. This must have been a real revolution to you as a painter.
It went on easy and it dried within a couple of hours. And of course, it also made it easy for DIY people, because you could paint the wall now, couldn't you?
Well, I suppose I could go down to the shop, pick up a can of paint, come home and do it myself.
In a
I could just slap it on the wall.
Start of the DIY revolution, yes. There we are. You'd probably be better with a roller, wouldn't you?
Thanks to synthetic paints, people could have colour and they could do the decorating themselves. Just one coat has kick-started our 50s makeover. The living room feels really bright and jolly, making it a space I might now want to spend time in. And just around the corner was an invention that would change the focus of this room and make it the place where we'd spend more time than anywhere else. I'm using this house to investigate the inventions and innovations of the 1950s that changed the way we lived. Now that I've got rid of the drab green walls in the living room, it's definitely somewhere I'd want to spend more time in. And there's a new piece of technology that will transform the layout of the room and make it the most popular place in the house.
If anyone looks back on the 1950s, the one piece of nostalgic history they all seem to remember, even if they weren't there, is that the entire population of Great Britain was squeezed on their sofas in the living room, either theirs or next door, to watch a newfangled television set and the Queen's coronation.
Through the gates of Buckingham Palace rolls the ornate golden coach of state, carrying a beautiful and radiant girl of 27 years to her coronation.
At the start of the 50s, there were just 300,000 TV sets in Britain. But as electronics companies shifted their focus from wartime needs to the consumer market, televisions began to be manufactured in bulk. It was the young Queen Elizabeth that provided the industry with the ultimate marketing tool. She wanted to share her coronation live with the country, and it was this event that kick-started our obsession with the goggle box.
As Elizabeth II enters the Abbey.
And I certainly don't want to miss out, so I've ordered myself a television. That'll be it now. Hello, come in. Put it through.
I've ordered a Bush TV 24, and it's designed in a stylish wood finish to blend in with the other furniture in my living room.
They made televisions as a part of the furniture. So you went in there and you looked at it and it was all wooden.
My parents owned a television, a Bush television made in the 50s, which was, to all intents and purposes, a drinks cabinet. It had this sliding shutter at the front in timber, which when you peeled it back, revealed, oh goodness me, there's a screen inside, not, 3 bottles of martini.
Being a bit flash, I've paid extra to upgrade from a 9-inch screen to a whopping 12 inches.
I've got widescreen. You've got a widescreen? Yeah, I'm going to be very popular with the neighbours. Absolutely. Who haven't got a TV, by the way.
We had the only one in the street. It was a 10-inch Bush television. I mean, literally like that.
If you wanted to watch a programme, and there weren't that many to watch, you had to turn it on at least 5 minutes before because it took that long to warm up.
And with only one TV channel, it doesn't even need a tuning knob on the front. Just a bit of adjustment round the back.
It's almost time for the coronation, so I'll leave you to tune it in, and I'll go make us a nice pot of tea. Jolly good.
TV ownership rose to 2 million by the time Elizabeth was crowned.
Years present now do homage to Her Majesty.
But with a telly costing up to a month's salary, it's no surprise many people pop round to their more affluent neighbours.
I remember seeing the coronation. We had a street party on that day. Knock on the door. Can I watch the television, please? And there were about 23 people in our sitting room, which was small enough anyway.
It's estimated a massive 27 million viewers, or lookers-in as they were called, watched the coronation live.
I think I need to make another pot.
That's roughly 13 people crammed in front of every single screen in the land. Our love affair with the box didn't finish with the coronation, and by the end of the decade, there were over 16 million sets in the country.
Every day was almost like a bit of a party, celebrating this amazing thing that you were sitting watching that you couldn't quite believe that pictures were coming down a tube.
Lord Beaverbrook, who owned Express newspapers, sent a memo out to his staff saying, "Do not pay too much attention to television. I feel it is a passing phase that will never catch on with the public."
It's quite extraordinary. Once the television was there, the whole geography of the house changed. I imagine it's a bit like what would happen if you put an altar into your house.
Chairs and sofas were now arranged around the flickering light generated by the TV. And speaking of sofas...
You know, seeing all those bums on the seats watching my brand new television made me realise just how saggy and, well, quite dusty my old furniture really is.
Furniture had been rationed during the war as it used up so many of Britain's scarce resources. To show you what I mean, Marty and I need to carry out an autopsy.
This wouldn't look out of place in my 1950 living room.
Well, it is a pre-war sofa, so no, it wouldn't. Let me show you what's inside.
What's that stuff?
This is wool.
Was that supposed to give you comfort?
Yeah, that's the soft bit. And then under that, a layer of hessian. I think this is coconut. Look at that.
That's ridiculous.
Monster springs.
Look at that up your bum.
This bit at the back, is it wood or straw? I think it's wood shavings.
That's like animal, mineral, vegetable, all in one piece of furniture.
Yeah, and rich people would have had horsehair in here as well.
It's no wonder furniture was so cumbersome and not replaced very often.
It's just super complicated. Loads of layers, time-consuming to make, incredibly expensive.
And then science offered us a bright, clean, body-hugging vision of the future. And the magic ingredient was foam.
Until the 1950s, sofas were made with springs made out of steel and horsehair and pig skin and dog lick, and they were enormously uncomfortable. And you get to the 50s and suddenly foam, cheap foam is available that allows you to make really squishy, soft sofas, which offered comfort.
Time for Marty and I to make our own foam, and we're going to start off with a rather unlikely mix of chemicals.
This is hydrogen peroxide.
That's the kind of stuff you use to bleach your hair.
This is entirely natural, I'll have you know. No
I
bleach.
don't believe you. Carry on.
So this stuff, yes, but it is. It's a bleach. And the key thing about it is, if you add the right ingredients to it, we can get it to foam up. The second ingredient is this, washing up liquid.
Yeah, which is bubbly.
Yeah, that's going to give us the bubbles. And the third and last ingredient is this delicious smoothie. Here, have a smell.
What's that?
That is chopped liver, because inside liver is a chemical called a peroxidase.
Right.
And the peroxidase makes the hydrogen peroxide change to water and oxygen, which is a gas. So we create a load of gas inside the liquids, and we should get a foam.
Is that sort of a fizzy liver?
Yes, an automatic
Nice.
fizzing system.
OK.
And now, the liver.
That's disgusting.
It's absolutely repulsive.
But having a sofa stuffed with a liquid liver souffle isn't practical for so many reasons. The big breakthrough for furniture designers came when scientists worked out how to capture these bubbles in a solid but spongy block.
You're going to lift up that bucket
Yeah.
and pour that stuff into here. That's the isocyanate. This is called polyol. And then we will mix it up with this.
The answer, yet again, lies in the petrochemicals that make plastic. This time round, the bubbles are encased in a thin film of plastic which then sets firm.
That's it. And out. Oh, wind.
Here.
Right, okay. Lid on. Let's just have a look. Oh, look, it's going, look! It's starting to go.
And the joy of this recipe is that it can be poured into any shape of mould the designer wants. We've decided to go for the classic, if a little boring, cube look.
Just to... Oh, step back.
It looks like it's alive.
It's alive! It's alive!
Those bubbles are really tiny.
Yeah, well, that's what you want. You want that nice, tight, compact bubbles. And then when it's risen, we need to give it a bit of time to set.
Whoa!
Get a bit of seepage at the front. That's all right.
This is huge.
It's starting to set. Look, you can see it here. It's sort of setting and turning into a solid. Smooth.
It's solid. But is it the comfy while sitting reading the paper sort of solid?
That's it.
Should we get on?
Okay.
Come on, climb on.
That's super bouncy. That's just springing back into shape. Wonder foam of the future.
It's good. I like it.
Maybe even watch some telly.
Foam heralded a breakthrough in furniture design. As well as being relatively cheap, it was light. And that meant the frame supporting it didn't have to be built like a Sherman tank.
God, it's nothing like that saggy old furniture filled with horsehair and vegetable matter. I mean, this is it.
The sofas that they used the foam in were much lighter. They had very fine little legs. They sort of raised up off the ground, almost floating. You could vacuum underneath them.
My dad said we're going to have a sofa and 2 chairs and they're going to match, and this was an amazing event.
Urkel, who was an Italian chap who worked here, moved over here, made these lovely bent wooden structures with thin mattresses on them.
And I now have my own classic Urkel sofa, complete with foam cushions, as a centrepiece to my living room. Slim, comfortable, and if I can say so, bloody good looking.
There we go. A lovely modern sofa.
The designers of the 50s, my dad being one of them, were definitely trying to break away from the past. I think they felt that there was a huge world of opportunity.
And they didn't get much more shapely than the Series 7 chair from Danish designer Arne Jacobsen. All of this wouldn't have been possible were it not for a man who never designed a piece of furniture in his life. Geoffrey de Havilland was a distinguished aeronautical engineer, but during the war he developed a process that would rewrite the rules of how furniture was made. And he did it all, making one of the most effective warplanes of the 1940s.
I know it's a programme about the home, but you'll forgive an aeronautical engineer if he gets excited about an aeroplane. This one in particular, it's the twin-engine Mosquito fighter bomber, and it was one of the fastest propeller-driven planes in the Second World War. And the secret of its success lay in its construction. It was made from bendy wood and glue.
Plywood planes paved the way for plywood furniture. It was incredibly cost-effective as manufacturers only needed to use expensive cuts of wood as a veneer.
What you start with is loads of layers of wood. We're going to put a layer of this on the top and a layer on the bottom. The inside of my version of the chair is going to be made from 4 layers of 2mm thick board.
Yeah.
Okay. This is cheap. This is expensive. We then take a mould. Here's a mould I made just out of foam insulation. This is my version. I don't know, we could call it a Marty
8.
Series 8 or something. Something like that. OK, so that wood is then laid over there, sandwiched up. And the butter in our sandwich, so to speak, the glue that's going to hold it all together, is our friend PVA.
Back to school glue.
We're back to kids' glue again.
The magic of PVA is that when it sets rock hard, turning a few flimsy pieces of board and wood veneer into plywood, a material stronger than wood itself. The glue needs to be set under pressure, either by applying a press or using a vacuum pack.
So now what we need to do is bend it down, and as it bends down, kind of pull the plastic out so that it doesn't get tucked in underneath.
I can see it going.
There's a lot of pressure on there.
That's absolutely
That's really
fantastic.
good, isn't it?
I can actually see the chair shape in that.
Yeah.
So how long is it going to take?
Well, until the glue sets, 6 hours at least. 3, 2, 1. Let's see whether she's worked. Oh, it's held. It worked!
That's super strong. That's it. It's our design classic. It's the Marty 8.
I think that's the bottom, actually.
Oh, is it? Sorry. It's so hard to tell with modern furniture these days.
Mixy.
Just the finishing touches and our pressure moulded masterpiece will be ready.
Look at that.
Look at those curves.
Suddenly you've got this chair which is stackable, easy to use, but it's one piece of wood.
I mean, imagine seeing that for the first time as a designer, the kind of possibilities that suddenly open up for making incredibly easy to produce, mass-producible furniture that loads of people could enjoy. I mean, this is going to look stunning.
Mass-produced furniture with brands like G-Plan became the aspirational housewives' must-have.
It was a whole new way of looking at things. Very natural, uncomplicated, and it was a real breath of fresh air.
It looks like I'll soon have a funky living room that will be the envy of my neighbours. Although it's already got the makings for a classic family evening in.
You can just imagine it, can't you? 1950s Idyll. Mum and Dad watching the new TV set, kids playing happily with the jigsaw on the floor. Oh, happy families.
But there's a problem. A dirty, smoky centrepiece that could ruin the whole room. If we want a bright, healthy home, it'll have to go. Inside 21 Coronation Close, the living room is beginning to resemble the bright, colourful family playground so beloved of 50s magazines. But it might not stay that way for long.
It's lovely to have a real fire, but do you want something so dusty and dirty in your living room every day? And with Mum and Dad chuffing away on their fags, well, it's going to get really dirty and grubby in here.
If you could look through the fog, you'll see the walls and the ceiling were all the yellow colours from the nicotine.
When we were speaking to someone, we couldn't see them on the other side of the room. It was filthy.
I've been looking at this old magazine, Practical Householder. Do it yourself. It's made me think I need to get rid of that dusty old dirty fireplace. And here's the article on page 449, Modernising a Fireplace.
This was the decade that made DIY a household phrase. Inexpensive materials like plywood and new household tools allowed everyone to modernise their living spaces on the cheap. Design could be affordable as well as aspirational.
I think the thing about DIY is it's not quite so expensive. So my parents were always very good at that. Everything they painted and changed. Never, ever did we hire a workman to do anything.
DIY was massive in those days. Massive. When you think now, most blokes have got no idea how to do any DIY. Then it was like you weren't a bloke unless you did DIY.
It's rather nice, if I say so myself. Lovely faux chimney breast, and down here, a thing of beauty. It's a Belling Waverley. It's a 3 kilowatt electric fire, and it would have cost £22, 6 shillings and 9 pence. Again, more colour, lovely lemon yellow, shiny chrome. But what I really love is down here,
They weren't ready to give up the old world just yet. They got fake coal. I mean, imagine having one of these after years and years of dusty, dirty old coal fireplaces.
If you pulled this switch down, bloody heat came out of the wall. It was called an electric fire. Never seen or heard of it in my life.
We had a fire, but it was an electric fire with artificial coals on it, and there was a fan whizzing around like that, which gave the impression that it was a fire. It didn't look anything like it.
It's really transformed the room. It's airy, it's bright, it's clean. Who wouldn't want to show this off to the neighbours after installing it? It's ironic, really, because the electric fire is quite inefficient and pretty expensive to run. But back then, in the 50s, people really wanted clean over dirty. This was now the perfect time to get rid of the rest of the smelly old fabrics and furnishings in the living room. No more peeking at the neighbours through the net curtains. Venetian blinds made from colourful aluminium slats were now all the rage.
Now, they might be the epitome of naff today, but back then they were part of a social move to get more light into the living room. And now I'm going to get rid of these dirty, stinky old rugs. And because I've got a nice, clean fire, no more dirt and soot, I can invest in one of the latest 50 fads, a brand new wall-to-wall nylon carpet. Bring it in, boys.
Until the 50s, carpets were made of wool, were incredibly expensive and the preserve of the rich. Most people made do with a couple of rugs that regularly needed to be taken outside and given a damn good thrashing. And Iris from the Bowls Club has popped round to show me just how to do it.
Here we go.
Oh.
That's...
Oh. Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Am I doing it wrong?
Yes, well, not quite right. If you hold it there.
OK.
And...
It's like having a tennis lesson.
Certainly. And then start again.
OK.
Oh, blooming no, not that quick. Not that much. There won't be any rug left.
What? I thought the whole point was to beat it.
It is beating, but can I show you?
Yeah.
You see, the dust is getting off. Can you see?
So you really don't need to beat the living daylights out of it.
No, because you want all the dust out, but you don't want the rug in pieces, because
Okay.
it would.
So it's really just a much lighter touch to do this?
Yes, yes.
OK, here we go. I mean,
That's right.
it's really...
It's awful.
Quite stinky.
Yeah, yeah.
And how long would it take to beat a rug like this?
Until you no dust left.
Well, I'm already getting dusty. It must have been a horrible job.
Awful job, yes.
And tiring?
But the men never did that.
I'm liberated. I'm a modern man,
Of course
Iris.
you are, of course you are. You're doing well, you're doing well.
Then the petrochemical industry gave the design world another byproduct that transformed the ground we walked on. And it cost just a quarter of the price of a wool carpet. Feel that. It's gorgeous. And thanks to mass-produced man-made fibres, you were able to get wall-to-wall luxury, warmth and colour. And a room this size would probably cost around, well, 25 quid to carpet, not much more than an electric fire. And at that price, I think I'm going to do upstairs. In just 1 year, carpet sales doubled. An explosion of colour spread across the floors of Britain.
We had patterned carpets. Now I would look at them and think, oh my God, that is so hideous.
You could have bright colours. It was warm and cosy. It was sort of luxurious.
Take a young couple.
As carpet sales rose, so did the must-have appliance to make light work of keeping them clean.
And you have the perfect setting for a new Hoover cleaner. Right from the start, carpets need the care and the protection only a Hoover can give.
One company name became synonymous with cleaning carpets. But I think it's about time we celebrated another little-known hero of mine. This is James Spangler, a janitor from Ohio. In 1907, he built a contraption using an electric fan, a soapbox, and a pillowcase that sucked up dust. the first practical domestic vacuum cleaner. He later sold his idea to his cousin's husband, a certain William Hoover. If things had have turned out differently, we may now talk about spangling the living room carpet. By the end of the 50s, 2/3 of Britain's housewives were hoovering to their heart's content.
Iris, I mean, after all that back-breaking, beating rugs, getting one of these, it must have been such a revolution.
Like magic.
You must have had to save up for one.
My husband gave up smoking for 3 months to save to get one. We couldn't afford to buy one outright, so he had to save.
I mean, it was the 50s. Your husband must have loved smoking.
He loved me.
He loved you more.
Yes, it was really wonderful to have my first vacuum cleaner.
But it's only when you unplug it from the socket and take a look at the vacuum cleaner's innards that you see just how clever an invention it is. We've got the beta bar, which is replacing that action.
Yeah.
We've got the bristles, which is obviously sweeping up the dust. And we've got this fan, which is going to be sucking everything up into the bag at the back.
Yes.
It beats as it sweeps, as it cleans.
It's wonderful.
So actually having one of these allowed you to have a bit of a life, really?
It did, because you could whiz round. I could look after my baby and we could do other nicer things than beating rugs.
When did my mother get a vacuum cleaner? I think she was born with one.
First of all, she had one that looked like a sausage dog without a head on. Then she had the upright one that went like that.
They worked. They were great. And it was something I think every house would have had a vacuum cleaner.
As a newly affluent nation sucked up the inventions and innovations of the 50s, the living room became a more pleasant place to be in. And as the family spent more time there, the look of the room became even more important. And thanks to science, we were about to become a nation of interior designers. The living room of Coronation Close is fast becoming a beacon for 1950s affluence and aspiration. Science had given us brighter walls, labour-saving devices, and wall-to-wall luxury. Now it was about to give us a new national pastime, interior design. And most people started with this. Wallpaper. This was the age of the feature wall. And since paper has stopped being rationed, I saved up my money, I've gone down the shops, I bought my wallpaper, and I've come home to hang it. Petrochemical science gave us a new glue. Polycell, launched in 1953, was Britain's first out-of-the-bag, water-soluble wallpaper paste. And atomic science gave us the design itself.
This isn't just an abstract pattern, it's a symbol of the ongoing 50s love affair between design and science. It's actually a representation of the molecular structure of nylon. And if ever there was a sign of embracing the man-made world, then this was it.
We had a big thing about geometric designs on wallpaper. Actually, I think it was pretty hideous, but maybe it was easier than flowers, I don't know.
Must have seemed quite a defiant act of design against all the wallpapers of history.
The influence of science and technology went way beyond just wallpaper.
There was something that was really popular at the end of the 50s, something that will go well with this molecular design wallpaper. It's an atomic-inspired clock, a burst of atoms and electrons in your own living room. Look at that, that's pretty groovy, isn't it? And maybe a magazine rack with these baubles which represent electrons whizzing around. It's all very cool, it's all really futuristic. The living room's so much more colourful, it's brighter. But there's just one thing standing between me and the future.
The dark, heavy curtains still hanging over the French doors.
I've got plans for that.
This is the sort of fabric that would have been very popular in the 50s. It's really different to what they would have been able to get hold of before, and you can see the influence of painters like Picasso with the black lines. It's very bold, it's very sort of stark, it's a real statement piece, and I think that it goes along with the whole feeling of the time.
New man-made fabrics, new dyes, new printing methods gave 50s designers a revolutionary new canvas.
It was the first time that bright coloured prints
and clashing prints were allowed to happen and were accepted. And now you can't go into a high street store without seeing some designer who's been influenced, or some collection that's been influenced by the 1950s. So, but good design should be like that.
And there was one designer who brought 50s style to all.
Smashing.
Lucian Day launched her radical new designs at the Festival of Britain and caused a sensation, drawing on artists like Picasso, Braque and Kandinsky.
For me, as a design engineer, I've just got to include Lucian Day in my Hall of Fame. I mean, she really epitomises the unique marriage that was going on between science and design in the 50s. What I love about Lucian is the way she encouraged ordinary people to express themselves through bold patterns and colours in their home.
The 50s designers definitely left a legacy of smiles, that's for certain. It was a very happy decade, and that's totally reflected in the colour, the shapes, just the happiness and the optimism that shone through.
So this is it. This is my 1959 living room finished. I think it's looking pretty groovy. And I kind of feel liberated, set free from the hangovers of the war. And all this is happening before the social revolution of the 60s.
The living room of 1950 was a space where fun feared to tread. It was almost anti-design, with a generation of heavy drapes, dark austere colours and clapped-out furniture. But in 10 short years, a series of innovations had fuelled a domestic revolution, with scientists and the petrochemical industry helping make this a place that wasn't just for Sundays and funerals, but a stylish hub of family life. The living room was a room for living in. A room to work, rest and play.
A cocktail cabinet. Drink, anyone?
By the end of the 50s, home entertaining was all the rage. Thanks to innovative design and scientific breakthrough, people had rooms to show off and to entertain their friends in.
Gin martini.
A gin martini.
A gin and tonic for me, please.
Gin and tonic. Gin and tonic.
The cocktail connoisseur James Bond first appeared in 1953 in the novel Casino Royale.
Thank you very much.
And came to symbolise a decadent lifestyle so many people aspired to.
Bottoms up.
Thank you very much.
By the end of the 50s, design was available to everybody.
A cigarette?
It was either affordable or you just did it yourself.
So if you visited somebody who had a living room like this, would you think it was a groovy living room?
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, very with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's impossible not to feel the excitement that this domestic progress would have created for a post-war generation. From austerity, smoke and rationing, to colour, design and technology. I toast the 50s. Bottoms up.